Well, hello YouTube. Now we're back with another video, and today I have a mid-DP team kind of game analysis and also some of my thought on the current state of the game. My team is composed of base Trunks, Spopovich, Future Gohan, as well as Goten, and my opponent is using, as you can see, SS4 Gogeta. So it's either a 5-man team or 2-man team. There is no in between with this character. So whenever you use a very high DP on point, what you will usually want to do, you either want to have like a mid DP that can transform, or just like a lot of low DPs that you can just sacrifice in order to heal your high DP. So I'm starting that game actually really bad. My opponent put me in some combos, and as you can see, Trunks is nearly at half health, but since it's only a 4 DP, I'm able to switch to Spopovich and kind of starting to put my hand on him. So my goal whenever I fight a very high DP, I play very cautious, and I don't mind sacrificing my character in order to inflict a lot of damage as well. So as you can see, that Gogeta already lost a bar of health, so that's already about 20% of his overall health. So since Gogeta is a 10 DP, 20% is the equivalent of a 2 DP. So already it's like I killed a Spopovich in his team while all of my character are alive. So this is very good. So I will keep the pressure, and as you can see, I brought back Trunks. So what you want to do in that kind of situation, you just want to use 2 characters at a time. So in that case, Spopovich and Trunks, and whenever my Trunks is very low, then I either switch to Gohan or I switch to Goten to continue the pressure. So funny second character, Ribrianne, so you don't see her a lot in this game, but she's actually very good. There is something about the Paralysis Ki Blast that no one is using, practically no one, and it deals, I think, the highest Ki Blast damage in the whole game. But since my opponent is not using that tech, I will just keep it under the radar for now, and whenever I use it, I will just like explore in detail how to best utilize the Paralysis Ki Blast. So as you can see, we already removed 1 bar of health from this Ribrianne, so that is around like, so now 2 bars, so around 50%. So 50% is about 2.5 DP. So right now I'm doing very good. I have my base strength alive, my Spopovich I think down to his last bar, but forced my opponent into a Vanish War. But wow, what super counter. My opponent is locked in right now, but I still have more ki. So I managed to win that Vanish War and switch in my Future Gohan. And the reason I did that is because Ribrianne is only a 5 DP, so she's the same DP as my Future Gohan, so it's safe for me to put the Future Gohan right here. So as you can see, I already spent 10 seconds in the game, so all I need to do for that Gogeta, my goal with Future Gohan, is just to deal 1 bar of health, and if I do that, I'm golden. 1 bar of health is another Spopovich gone. So once I deal that, I can just switch in my either Trunks or Spopovich again. So my switch timer is ending, so I'll try to switch in my other character after winning that Vanish War. But my opponent is so good at super counter, and I just lose. But that's okay. It just popped Wild Sense, and I noticed that. So it's very easy to beat out Wild Sense. You either do that, use a Super Perception, or just print Vanish, and then you can start off your combo. And Gogeta deals so much damage, and my Future Gohan is almost done, but I managed to get a lucky super counter and switch in my Spopovich. And here I have already 3 characters that are already low, so now my plan is just to use my lowest CP character and try to just take some hit at that Gogeta. All I need to do is to deal enough of damage so that my last character Goten can finish the job. As you can see, Spopovich is almost dead, but that's okay. Gogeta right now is only 2 health bar remaining, and that is 40% of his health. So that Gogeta right now has pretty much the value of a 4 DP. So if I lose my Trunks now, it's okay, because it's like I already killed 6 DP from that team. So I don't mind losing my Trunks right here if I can just deal just a little more damage. Because the advantage right now, I'm not dealing with a Whis. Whis is pretty much the most broken character in that game, because He's a 10 DP, he deals a lot of damage, he has one of the highest defense in the game, and he can regen 1 bar of health. And 1 bar of health on the 10 DP is so difficult. As you can see, like on that Gogeta, it took me like at least 3 combos to remove 1 bar of health. But I managed to do it. That Gogeta right now is almost there. So all I need to do here is to kill that Ribrianne, and then I can just finish the job on that Gogeta with my Goten. So she killed me, but it's okay. I have my future Gohan. I just need to win 1 engagement, and I managed to do so. That Ribrianne is dead. He's on his last character. I managed to activate Wild Sense here in the clutch. So right here, future Gohan already did so much damage, and I'm comfortable letting him die right now, because SS4 Gogeta on his last bar of health is the equivalent of a 2 DP, and I have a 4 DP that can turn into 5 in the backdoor full health. But when my Goten is so healthy right now, I shouldn't have any issue winning that fight. And here my opponent started playing a little passive. I will do that if I was at this place, but just play a little bit passive, but still my opponent needs to push me, because right now I don't need to engage at all. My Goten is 5 DP, that Gogeta is less than 1 bar health, so it's less than a 2 DP. So if no one does any damage, I'm winning for sure. So we just have a staring context right now. My opponent is just waiting for me to commit, and I know that Gogeta on my Goten only 3 combos and I'm dead. So if he doesn't want to push, I'm comfortable ending the game. And since in quick match, he doesn't mind losing, I don't mind if the game end like that. And since my opponent was very good, I'm just rematching. Hopefully takes the rematch, so let's see. I'm actually having a lot of fun with that opponent, and he helped me to put into spotlight that mid DP team, even though my opponent is not using the most meta team. Maybe instead of that Ribrianne, could have used Android 13, so an Android that can turn from 5 to 7 just 5 seconds into the game, or maybe a Broly that can go from 5 to 9, or even a Super Gohan that can turn into a Beast Gohan, so from a jump from 4 to 9 DP. So right here my opponent started the game wonderfully. I only managed to deal half a bar of health, and he killed my my base strength. So now I'm in a big pickle, so I need to pull up, do a lot of work with Popovich right here. And I managed to I lose that Vanish War, but since my opponent went for the diving kick, I managed to vanish and punish. But my opponent is so good at super counter, so even having the key advantage might not help me win that Vanish War. I really need to lock in and start super countering as well. And as you can see, I started super countering because I noticed that my opponent is very good. The only way I'm going to survive is just to have my super counter on points, and I managed to get few of them, and my opponent still is winning most of them. But it's okay. Right now my Popovich will be dead, but as you can see right now I dealt 1 bar and a half on that Gogeta. So what is it? Maybe around let's say maybe 30% of his total health. So that means that I killed a 3 DP while I've lost a 4 DP and almost a 2 DP. So right now I'm very behind, but I managed to do a lot of damage with my future Gohan. So the way I combo on a high DP is to try to keep my combo short. So not try to just mash square and do the full 2 string, just mix in some reset in between, like the flying kick reset or the rolling hammer reset. So in order for it to reset after the Russian, you just wait a little bit and restart your combo. So that's what I try to do, just keeping my combo short. It also make it very difficult for my opponent to counter me mid combo. But still my opponent is so good at super counter, so it doesn't matter. Right now my Goten is already lost half of his health, but still I don't know why opponent is not switching. He's just trying to run through my team with that Gogeta, and it's not a good idea. In DP you want to switch when you can, and after winning all those Vanish Wars, my opponent had so much opportunity to switch, but he didn't take it. If he had switched just the Ribrianne on after winning a Vanish War like that, he can rest his Gogeta on the back end and come back stronger, because it's very difficult to kill a high DP. So the more healthy you keep your high DP, the easier for you will be to close a fight. But right here, my opponent Gogeta is only on his last bar of health, so I will have no issue killing him as long as I manage to finish that Ribrianne. But my opponent has the super counter on point, so now I try to do the dragon dash chase instead of the just normal triangle follow-up, because I noticed that my opponent will just super counter me. And yeah, right now I have 3 characters. And also something that you notice, I'm not transforming. And the reason I'm not transforming is like transforming keep you longer in the game. So let's say that I have my opponent in a combo and my switch timer is already like halfway done. After finishing that combo, I'm not transforming, because if I transform, it just reset the timer and then my character has to stay longer. And I don't want any of my character to be locking long with a high DP like Gogeta. But I managed to almost kill that Ribrianne with my Goten. And I'm fine trading my Goten here for Ribrianne, because Ribrianne is 5 DP, Goten is only 4. So trading Goten for Ribrianne doesn't mean a lot for me. And here my opponent is getting desperate. He just tried to back away and pop in the instant spark. And since I notice it, I just use my Spopovich, because Spopovich only 2 DP. If I lose him, it doesn't matter. So if my opponent goes into instant spark, I can just try to run away. If he catches me, no big deal. Spopovich dies. 2 DP loss, no big deal. That Gogeta is almost dead. I can finish him up with any character. And I managed to close the fight with Spopovich. So as you can see, like so a mid DP team might not be the best team, a meta team, but you can still make it work. It's still a viable team if you know what you are doing. You switch when you can, and also you manage your character well, and you know the matchup. You know which character you are willing to sacrifice to deal a lot of damage on your opponent high DP, because that's the goal in this patch. Just try to kill the high DP, because once your opponent doesn't have a high DP, it will be very difficult for him to finish up the game. So my goal here, just do a little bit of damage and then switch out, because the previous fight I lost my train very early, so I'm not trying to do that here. So I try to be very cautious, but still with the super counter, my opponent is just making it very difficult for me to dealing any kind of damage. But I managed to win that Vanish War and then switch in my Spopovich after dealing 1 bar of health. So that would be I'm always counting whenever I'm playing TP. So always try to deal meaningful damage to your opponent, so that even after healing after a switch, you still make it very difficult for him to survive. And the issue with the high DP is still the same as the previous patch. The high DP switch timer is about 1 minute for a 10 DP. So whenever that Gogeta come back, he has to survive my assault for 1 minute before switching out. While with my mid DP, I just need to stay in the game 30 seconds. And if I manage to get a knockback on that Gogeta with full key, for example, I can drain his key and then just switch in my next character and continue the pressure. So that's the advantage of the mid DP. They deal moderate damage, but still they can switch out very early compared to the high DP. And whenever you are in a knockback chain, your opponent cannot deal damage to you unless he super counters. But if you manage your key well, you will most likely win those Vanish Wars. But my opponents just simply have the super counters on point. But despite that, I'm still putting a lot of pressure on that Gogeta. That Ribrianne is almost dead, and after healing 5k of health, that Gogeta is still kind of healthy. So that's the reason why I transform my Trunks. And whenever you want to transform, always transform after swapping out at least once. And you want to transform at the beginning of the timer. You don't want to wait until, let's say, your timer is halfway done and then you transform. You want to transform as early as possible if you decide to transform. So my Trunk right here, start dealing way more damage to that Gogeta, because he went from a 4 DP to a 6 DP. Still, it's not a big jump, but it will help me doing the job. Here, I have no issue trading my Trank for the Gogeta, but I still keep the good habit of switching if my switch timer is up and if my opponent is not pressuring me. Ideally, you want to switch in on a knockback chain, but sometimes the opponent just also want to switch out, so it will just play a little bit passive, and that's okay. You don't need to commit right here. Just save your character and try to win the second round. And here I switch in my future Gohan, and I notice that my opponent is just trying to wait until the switch timer is over, and right here this is the perfect time to charge into sparking, but my opponent noticed that and he stopped me. So at some point of the fight, you will notice that your opponent will just play very passive, either to set up an instant spark or just wait for the switch timer. And what you want to do here, just don't necessarily pressure him. You want to charge key if you can, and then wait until that switch timer is almost over. Then you do a Z-burst dash or you throw a key blast and you start pressuring him, because whenever the switch timer is about to be done, the opponent will start trying to open his switch menu, and this is the opportunity you can use to catch him off guard and do a ZBD. Here I switch in my highest DP, Super Saiyan Trunks, and I'm just trying to close up the fight. And the reason I'm not following up is because I just wanted to charge a little more key, because I noticed my opponent is very good at super counter, so I just try to get a little bit of key advantage before I try to engage. But my opponent is coming to me, and I managed to defend myself and turn around and put him in a combo. And here, notice what I'm doing here. Stop my combo, let him pop in the white sands, and then bet it out, and that's GG for him. And that's the end of the video. Hopefully you like it and you will start using more of your mid DP in rank, for example, or maybe in quick match. Just have fun. It's just a video game. Winning or losing doesn't really matter as long as you have fun. So until next time, Nahu out. See you guys.